Thank you for joining us today. And when I say us, I mean me. It's only just me today. I've been left all alone to explain to you guys the joys of PPU, PPU, and how you can brand the software to fit your aesthetic and your client's needs. We're going to be talking about a few things on the back end, how you can customize a unique URL, where the email customization options live, and also how you can customize both PPU and PPU to really fit in with your client's aesthetic, their corporate identity, and what you can do to upsell that to increase your margins. So before we get going, we're actually going to do some examples and show you what the before will look like, and then we'll jump into what the after will look like as well, and then dive into some details as to what that can look like. So first thing I'm going to show you is a unique URL. I'll show you a plain version of what that looks like, and then some of the more advanced features on what it could look like when you're done. When that's done, I'll jump into the back end and show you exactly where these settings live, what to change, and what it should look like when you're done. We'll do the same for both PPU in terms of PPU files and the kiosk after. And then we'll talk a little bit about how to pitch this and what it all means. All right, let's get ourselves started. So we're going to share my screen over here. And here we go. Now, those of you who know me know that I'm a big fan of cars and aircraft. So I've got a very plain unique URL over here with what looks like a lovely Porsche 918 Spider, just showing you what a plain unique URL will look like without you changing anything else on it. I have a few other examples of this. This is from our VR brush tests. So you can see, you can scroll down, there's a meter available. It's all very plain, all very simple, easy to access. We'll do one more. Who doesn't like a good looking kitty? Love the eyes on this one. And we can scroll down and you can also see just how simple it is. And we've added some download buttons with this one. So there's some flexibility when it comes to receiving your media. Now, what is the potential for this? So let me show you an example we did for Mr. Mercedes. When you have a microsite, unique URL, they're both interchangeable terms in our parlance, you can really customize how everything looks. As you can see over here, we've got a fantastic looking header. The guests activation and the output is over here, so they can play that. You can see how beautiful that looks. And we've got a custom background and all the sharing buttons that are available at the bottom. You can see just how different this looks from the plain microsite unique URL where nothing has been changed. So that's a fantastic look. And then the sky's the limit from there. We have one we did here for Good Omens. You can see now the aesthetic is completely different, branded to what this client specifically wanted. Even the icons are specifically designed to this aesthetic to match what they had in mind. This is a fantastic opportunity for you to upsell because now you can be unique. You can say, well, this is your identity. We can make this identity shine right the way throughout the entire activation process, not only at the booth or taking photos, but after the booth when the guest has long gone and is visiting the site to download their media. And here's one that will show you, hey, look at that, Bud Light. They're very specific colors, their look, their branding, all of this beautifully done right there. And then I'll show you one more just because who doesn't like a good action flick? We've got Venom over here. We are Venom. Here's the hashtag, the call to action available right there. You can see how beautiful that looks and how different the aesthetic can be. And then, it doesn't always have to be this dark and, all this bright colors and all of that. You can always just come through over here. And here's one we did for Pandora. This will be the final example I show you, but you can see here how different this looks, how uniquely brandable everything is, right down to the hashtags at the bottom and so on and so forth. All this needs is just a little bit of patience on your side to get this customized the way that you want it. So where does this all live? It's fine talking about it and showing it to you on a screen. Let's actually show you what it looks like on the back end. So I have a lovely event already created here, which is appropriately titled Live Stream. How about that? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over into some of the options that we have. When it comes to putting together these, I'll be showing you both for the kiosk and for the microsite and unique URL. When it comes to unique URL and microsites, you'll be coming here, going to unique URL, turning that on, and then it's as simple as uploading the file that you need for the header, customizing the titles, and everything that you need. Now remember, you can tile the background image, change what the background image is, titles, everything here follows a very logical, straightforward path. The system will tell you this is what the thing is. You make sure that the specific sizes match what you're trying to put in the appropriate buttons, and then it's very easy to create something similar to this with all the buttons, the background image nice and tiled, the header image, and then the output will be centered over here. All of these options live here. Nice and easy to create. There's not a whole lot to talk about here, to be honest, because it's fairly straightforward. If you need graphics dimensions on how specific sizing needs to be, for example, head over to our support site, and our support site has some information on specific graphics for logos and things like that as a guideline for you to put in here. Pretty useful stuff over there. Now, there's another aspect of customization I would like to talk to you about and show you, and that will be the kiosk. So I'm going to minimize out of here, and I happen to have a kiosk screenshot ready to go. So this is what the standard kiosk looks like. We'll just make this a little bit larger. We have the lovely bubbles in the background. You have, your guest images, in this case, those lovely cars that I'm very fond of as my guest. And all you need to do is just select, move over, done, and then you're good to go. But did you know that you can also brand this specific aspect of the guest experience where they're busy sharing and typing in their details completely? You can change the background, you can change the sharing buttons, you can even change the logo to appear on the top right-hand corner of the screen. And what will happen if you've done that correctly is something that looks like this. So in my case, I do like flying, I promise. We've got a lovely background of a plane flying through sunset. We've added the LA Photo Party logo on the top right-hand corner over there. And this just enables you to completely brand the entire aspect of everything. As you can see, it still looks very pretty, enables you to have that guest experience right the way through. And I haven't customized the button on the back end, but if you wanted to, you could change the look and feel of these sharing buttons on the back end as well. Like we did for the unique URL and microsite, you've got full brand capability here. Customize it the way your client wants. It doesn't even need to be corporate. If you have a high-end wedding client, for example, or a bar mitzvah or something like that, this is the perfect chance for you to, if the child in the bar mitzvah likes certain things, you can really tailor that to them and make it a specific, unique, and ultimately memorable event. This is what we call experiential. Remember, you're not selling the features here, you are selling the experience. So that's something to keep in mind always, because no client really wants to know the details of this. They just want to see it and go, ha, yes, that's exactly what we want. Now, where does that live on the back end? So let's head over back to our event manager site, head over to the options section. We'll head over to graphics and look at that. This is where I can do a custom background for kiosk. I just need to check that mark over there. And as you can see, that lovely plane that was part of my kiosk background is now part of the background here. Now, remember I talked about custom buttons. This is where you would turn them on and then upload the custom buttons with the specific graphics size right here for the kiosk to download from the helper when it's time to get going. As you can see, this isn't complicated at all. You just need to find the settings, turn them on, upload the graphics, and then the software will take care of the rest to really make things unique and wonderful. So now that we have had a look at the backgrounds and the custom kiosk button, there are a couple of other things that we can do here. You can head over to the extras section, click on graphics, and then this is where changing the logo on the home screen will look. Remember this lovely logo on the top right-hand side of the kiosk over here? You add that by heading over to extras, graphics, logo on the home screen, and then uploading your file. Please note that there are very specific image size files that have to be in here, and we tell you it has to be 200 by 150 for this to work. Again, the image sizes and all the guidelines are on our support site, so check those out. Any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We can provide guidance and help on how to get that done. So once you've done everything on that end and clicked submit, that's when you end up with a kiosk that looks like this, fluid, beautiful, fully customized to what your client wants in terms of an aesthetic from a sharing point of view. So now let's recap. We've talked about what the guest will receive when they have sent themselves their image, that beautiful microsite that I showed you, or several in this case. And we've also gone a step before that, what the guest sees when they are busy sending themselves the media, what they're sharing from, which would be the kiosk. Now, let's have ourselves a chat about the initial point of the pipeline, taking a photo in PPU, and how you can customize the look and feel right there too. And let's get ourselves started. So I'm going to minimize that. Jump into PPU. Now, fair warning, there'll be a little bit of inception going on as it moves from the camera that's broadcasting to the webcam right over here that I have signed up and good to go. By the way, notice my LA Photo Party pillow right in the back there? See, when we talk about branding, that's what we're talking about. Okay, so as you can see over here, we've got a very stock standard PPU screen. Nothing incredibly complicated about this. This is what you're going to see in the standard way. Where the customization options live will be in the software background and the idle and splash screens to make something a bit more autonomous. And then also heading over to the miscellaneous tab and editing custom buttons to change the look and feel of how the software looks. So I'm going to hide this button here so I'm able to still share and do all the things I need to. And what we're going to do is import a PPU file. This is going to be a custom PPU file that has everything on it changed and good to go. So let's show you what that looks like. We'll start off with one of my favorites, cyberspace. Now, this particular PPU file was inspired by Tron. So there we go, imported successfully. Click OK. Look at that. The buttons are completely different. We have a lovely background that's going on. And if you click on photo here, you can see even the home button has changed to match the aesthetic of what the client is busy looking for. So what I'm going to do now is just exit out of this. And just to give you guys an idea of the graphics on the back end over here, we have page designs with photo strips and different colors that could go on here. We have an animated GIF. And we also have a VR 360 activation that lives over here. So that lets you know just how unique this specific PPU file is. Now I'm going to show you a different one. But before I do that, look at all these custom buttons. This is what changes everything within the software and changes where the aesthetic looks. Everything here has been customized, from the shared buttons, the main buttons, other buttons, the read, everything here has been fully customized to take advantage of what this specific PPU file and those graphics are meant to represent. And if we head over to the preferences section, and you can see that software background, that lives right over here. If I click on open file, I could navigate to where everything is. This is just giving you an idea of what the original assets were to piece together everything about this file and everything about this PPU activation. So that customization, really, really nice, crucial to making sure that your client is able to see the vision that they want and go, yes, that's our brand identity. You've captured it perfectly. Carry on. So that's one PPU file. Let's show you another. We have a few here to explore. Let's do one from the holidays. Let's check this one out. My computer's working very hard. I can hear it. Wait for this to give me confirmation. Perfect. That's now done. I'll click OK. Now look at that. The live view has changed to match the aesthetic of what we wanted to do for this specific activation. You can see the photo and GIF buttons have now changed. The whole look of the software is now completely different to enable you to do the things that you need to. Click on photo, you can see these different backgrounds are available. The entire aesthetic is now yours. If you have a client who has a very specific holiday look, a very specific holiday feel, well, guess what? You can deliver that to them. And this is something that's great to pitch to venues, because venues are always going, okay, what's the next thing? We're going to have a lot of holiday parties coming through. planners, party planners for both corporate and individuals are going to be looking for certain things like this. So the ability to have the flexibility to do this is crucial, and that's what sets you apart. Continuing on our journey, we did just have Independence Day, 4th of July. So let's show you what that would look like. Okay, very nice. Look at that. Brilliant, right? As you can see here, the button placement has also shifted. So instead of being near the bottom, it's now gone up towards the middle. You can change this very, very easily within PPU by heading over to the miscellaneous section, come to custom buttons, and then changing their position using these settings over here, the vertical position and the scale. You can change the size of the buttons using this option over here. You just upload the graphics, they will automatically be resized to fit exactly the way you want them to. Now, this particular PPU has a fun little feature. So let me see if I can get that going over here. We'll go here, we'll go 4th of July, we'll come here, and let's use a snap camera here, and let's see if this works. Okay, we'll go photo. Yeah, we'll get that going. Perfect. And let's turn the effect on. Hey, look at that. Again, this is all part of that specific branding. This is how you can make yourself stand out with not only using the custom PPU file to make it look the way you want, but also using AR effects and other features that are part of PPU to really hammer home that brand aspect and changing things the way you want. Not a bad look, eh? But I wouldn't necessarily want to walk out with it all the time in public. So let's turn this off and get ourselves back to an even keel. So I'm just going to end the session, turn everything off over here so we can continue with our lovely demonstration. Perfect. And here we are, back to normal, good to go. Now, all of these PPU files are very easy for you to just create on your computer. That could be running a PPU trial, export them, save them back onto a flash drive or a Dropbox, download them to your booth when it's time for the event. As always, test, test, test. Once you're done with all your testing, it should all be pretty straightforward. And here's the final one I will show you, the Valentine's Day GIF. And as you can see over here, photo option, look at that heart. That heart is, custom to what you need to, and then the guest is able to choose everything that they want from there. The live view size is customizable depending on the graphics you want. There's some serious options here when it comes to customizing PPU. And that is that. I'm going to stop showing my screen here, jump back in, and have a final word with you. As you can see, there are many, many customization options when it comes to PPU and PPU, and customizing the software to fit in with your aesthetic. The main thing, again, is to not necessarily pitch your features. The main thing here is to look at your guest, your client, your venue, your party planner, whomever it is you're speaking to, and what you're doing is you are selling the experience. You're creating the memory. This is crucial for you to then listen and find out what their brand identity and what their brand aesthetic is. So before you go into a meeting with a prospective client, it pays to do a little bit of research, find out what they've done in the past, what events they've done in the past, perhaps put together a deck and a pitch deck that incorporates some of those images, some of those colors, some of those palettes, and then insert them into a PPU file, take a few pictures, and then put that in your pitch and say, look, here's what we can do. We can understand your identity. More often than not, it's the photo booth owner company that actually is able to get the message that they're trying to convey and understands who they are, that gets the job, as opposed to the one that has all the technical ability in the world. Remember, ultimately, everything is built on a personal connection. It's a good idea to remember what that is. Thanks for spending time with me today. Let's do a quick recap and see if anything has cropped up question-wise. Nope, not at this time. Perfect. So guys, remember, we are doing these every 2 weeks. We did miss last week due to it being a holiday weekend. So good to see you all again. Please suggest topics. Feel free to email us. Feel free to join our Facebook user group. Whatever's the easiest for you to get in contact with us. Suggest any future topics that you have in mind. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks with our next live show. Thank you so much. Have yourselves a fantastic day.